Now you can, there's a mixture of stuff that you can do on Oscar here. There is a depression template that I can use, and then I drag it into these different things. And that's just basically Siggy caps. But if you don't want to use that, you can just enter the information as you go. So we'll just, for the sake of time, we'll do this. So a lot of that we won't have established in this conversation. This neurotic female comes back this afternoon, feeling quite depressed, period. She does not love her husband anymore, period. Neurotic. Neurotic. New line, she has been hallucinating, period. New line, she describes a depressed mood, period. Poor sleep, period. Initial insomnia, comma, middle insomnia, comma, and terminal insomnia, period. Interest and motivation is poor, period. New line, she is now going to be a patient of Dr. Ross's. Comma, and I guarantee that he will be interested, period. So, you get the message. So then we can just do that in there and take it from there. So that's what we would do. Any questions?
Oh, yeah, question.
Sad?
I'm not taking on new patients.
But I promised.
I have a wait list. I cannot
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is Dragon, isn't it?
This is Dragon.
Right now, would you recommend buying the expensive medical thing, or just buy the sort of Walmart version?
Good question. There are several physicians who have bought the Dragon Preferred, which is about a $200 package, and you can train it, and it actually does quite well with some medical terms. There are some issues though, and that what happens when you buy medical is that it will always search medical database before anything else. So if you put in, out of the box, you can put in comminuted open femoral fracture, spiral fracture, whatever, any of the sort of medical terms, hemorrhagic, these words it picks up quite well. The other thing about the Professional is that in the setup of your office, you can have what's called a roaming profile, which you cannot have with Preferred. And what a roaming profile does is it is stored on the one computer in the office, and it is the housing of your vocabulary. So if you change vocabulary while you are in any room in the office, when you save it, the roaming profile is updated in one place. And then the next morning when you come in to use either of your exam rooms or your back office, etc., it goes to get that particular updated vocabulary. So that is a huge bonus, because then you don't have multiple vocabularies on different machines. The way it works is you buy a license for Dragon, and the medical is $1,500, but you have freedom to put it on as many machines as you like. So in our office, we have 3 of us out of the 4 who use it, and we have 30 computers in our office, something like that. Dave? Where's Dave Page? Roughly like that. So between the 3 of us, we use 11 of those different computers, 12, and we can just pick up our vocabulary anywhere in the office. And then we have it on our laptops and our home computers as well.
Do you dictate prescriptions on the prescription?
No, because I have an extensive list of favorites,
Right.
and then of course once you do it, but what I do is I will dictate, I'll often dictate a note to the pharmacist, for instance. You know how sometimes the medication is out of sync? And I'll say, this patient's medications are out of sync, please take into account the current stock and prescribe so they're all or not together done. And I'll use that as a custom drug, and then it just adds on. There is a way that you can do that on the prescription module as well. So, but I dictate all my chest x-ray and breast, mammography, requisitions, all my consults, all my medical legals, everything like that.
What's your experience at Max Speak?
I don't have any experience with MacSpeak, but what I do know is that MacSpeak, up until recently, was proprietary to Apple, right? And the way they were licensing that was it would be $650 roughly for a license for one computer. I think they allowed you to put on 2 computers?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can put one computer and another. So then, and they don't have the roaming profile attribute. They've just been bought out by Nuance. So Nuance owns Dragon. So we're actually quite excited because I know a lot of you guys like Max, and that was actually something that kept us from going with Max at the beginning, was because it wouldn't run our voice recognition. So, you know, next wave of computers, who knows? We may end up going Mac if it's you know, Dragon is going to go into that area. I think they'll do very well. Back there.
How long did it take you to get used to the system?
You know what?
Recognizing your voice and making minimal errors.
Yeah, you can take a trainer. You can take somebody right off the bat, and within 15 minutes you're up and dictating. If you want to, what I find sometimes is that I find if I'm doing, say, a counseling session with somebody, and there's not a lot of medical terminology in that, I'll actually switch to an email vocabulary. Now, Sherry Van Eden is with us today. She just put your arm up here. She's my Dragon lady. And Sherry is just phenomenal. If you have any questions about setup and stuff, just grab her at the end of the session, because she's actually phenomenal about and understands and getting to know Oscar better. And she's phenomenal about knowing what we need. And this voice recognition has done one thing, and that has really removed the angst from a lot of people who are older who don't type well. And it has removed the barrier of moving into an EMR when people are frozen, and not everything, you know, you can do a lot with templates, but not everything fits a template. So I will go to a vocabulary that is less medical, and you can actually pull in documents and train it to that next level where it looks at documents you've either written. Like I'm a part-time pastor, so I do some preaching. So if I've put some sermons in there as well, when I go to and I say Corinthians, if I'm preparing a sermon, it just gets it right because it's being trained in that. So.
What about accents?
Accents. There are versions for lots of different accents. UK, American, Hindu, Korean, where.
I can say that there's different versions of medical and Dragon in particular, but Dragon itself comes with the Spanish accented, UK accented, Asian, Southeast Asian, Australian accented. So there's a bunch of different profiles, and pretty much if you go into UK, that covers Scotland, Irish accents, Welsh accents, you know. And if you don't fit into a particular accent, me for instance, you can just go with the standard, which is the default, which is the US English, and Dragon should be able to learn as long as you speak clearly. So it learns from, you can actually choose to do an additional training session, so instead of just doing the 5-minute enrollment, you can choose to do another 20 minutes to give it a basis to pick up your accent.
And I will tell you that we have an internist in Chilliwack who is from South Africa but of Korean descent, and his accent is awful. So, and he uses Dragon successfully.
What about Max Speak? That's the thing. It's Max Speak you see as the problem.
Well, it's using the Dragon 9 kernel. Yeah, they just brought that out. I bought it last month, and it works really fine.
Yeah.
Do you have any experience with passing audio files into Dragon Speak for processing and then capturing the text out the other side? Do either you or you?
Well, you can do a WAV file, right? You can actually create a WAV file on a recorder, and then just say transcribe that, and it'll go in. In fact, on the iPhone, Dragon is now for the. I've got an app on the iPhone, and it's actually not bad.